Today on Sally, she says it's time for her brother to get married.
Edward has 4 children. There's a different mom for each child.
You don't have to get married to have children.
You should.
She wants her baby brother to settle down.
I want him to have control of his life.
But a secret stops him from ever tying the knot.
Well, this is a whole nother show now.
Stop pressuring me to get married. Today on Sally.
Everywhere you look, there are images of weddings and the idea of living happily ever after. But statistics say that 60% of U.S. adults are now single, the largest percentage ever. Why are women and men turning their back on tradition and saying, I don't, instead of I do? Our guests today say they are single, happy, and here to tell their loved ones to stop pressuring them to get married.
About whether you think it's important for people to be married or not. It's pretty interesting. In some ways, I think you reach a certain age where unless you're going to have children, maybe it's not important to get married, you know? Our guests today say that's not good enough because they have someone who loves them, who is pressuring them to settle down and get married. The only problem is they say they're very happy being single. They have no intention of getting married. And that's true of Ed. He's 31 years old. So you're not yet in that category. Ed owns a photography business, and that means he does weddings all the time. So here's a guy who does weddings and has no desire to get married. Why?
I've seen it all too common as far as people will pressure me to get married because that's like the right thing to do. And to me, you should get married when you're happy and you're ready to settle down.
Okay, next to Ed is his sister, Lanice. Lanice, you think he needs to settle down at 31 and get married? Why?
Yes, Sally, I think that it's time for him to get married. Edward has 4 children, and I think that it's time.
Wait. Who is the mother of who is the mother of the 4 children?
There's a different mom for each child.
Well, go ahead. What were you going to say?
So I think that it's time for Ed to go ahead and get married so that his children can have a stable environment.
Ed, do you have custody of any of your children?
I have joint custody of my first son. I see all my children. I take care of all my children.
But none of them live with you?
None of them live with me. I have one son lives...
None of them live with you. Are you still having sex with any of their mothers?
No. One lives in Atlanta.
Well, wait. You're going to continue doing this. You're 31. By the time you're 60, you'll have how many children? By how many different ones?
No, that's it. I'm done. No more.
What do you mean no more? You're not going to do it. Suppose you marry a woman and she wants to have children. You're going to say no more?
Well, hopefully she already have children. I'm not looking for somebody.
So you've got 4 and you're going to marry a woman with 4 and you're going to have 8?
See, the thing is, you don't have to get married to have children. You get married because you're in love and you want somebody to basically help you.
I disagree with you when you say you don't have to get married to have children. I think it is the best way to raise children is to be married and have children.
But you don't have to have children. You do not have to get married to have children.
No, you do not have to get married to have children, but you should get married to have children because the children need a stable environment, and it's wrong to have children all over the place like you're doing and not get married. That's not the right thing to do. To give the children a stable home. I'm with your sister.
So you can't have a stable home if you're not married? Is that what you're saying?
Well, are you living with somebody?
Yes, I am living with somebody. I have basically he's my roommate from 15 years ago in high school. He has children also, but as far as me raising my children. So you guys are going out spreading seed all over the place and hanging with each other? No, I did not say that. Basically how it works is as far as I was 20 years old. You talk, I'm trying to help you, Lenise. When I was 20 years old, I had my first child from my ex-love in high school. So At that point, I was like, okay, I don't want any more children until I'm married. We did not work out. I tried the marriage thing. I was, as far as engaged.
How long were you married?
I was never married. I was engaged. I was engaged to one of my baby's mom.
But Ed, I think that being that we were raised with both of our parents and we've had the opportunity to have a stable environment, that it would be good for you to get married.
How long were your parents married?
Our parents have been married for almost 34 years now, Sally.
So Ed's mother has something to say. Take a look.
To settle down and get all your children together so that they can have some stability in their lives and you can have some in yours. God bless.
I'm not saying anything different than your mom is saying. Your mother's saying the same thing I'm saying. Go ahead.
We were also raised in the church, and we all still attend church. And so that's the main reason. I mean, there are times when it does happen like that, but since it has been 4 times, Sally, I think that it's really time.
Well, I think it's ridiculous
for him to go ahead and settle down and get married. He is a good father. In his defense, he is a good dad to his children. He does provide for them financially.
See, I love children as far as I didn't want all the children as far as how that happened.
Are you planning never to get married?
I didn't say that. My focus is my photography. I'm focused on business.
Okay.
Because I had to raise my children. No, you got to think about it. If I got to raise all my children, I'm the one who have to make the money and make sure they have food on the table. If I'm married to somebody who's not supporting me as far as helping me in my business, then that's cutting me down, because there's a lot of females out there that need a lot of time. Oh, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. You're always working. Well, I'm always working because I got to support my kids and I got to spend time with my kids. So if you can't be supportive of what I'm doing, then I don't need you.
So you never plan on marrying?
I didn't say I never plan on marrying. If there was somebody out there just like me almost, as far as motivated, entrepreneurial skills.
A woman who's had 4 children by 4 different men?
I didn't say that. I said similar to me.
That's similar.
Similar. I don't mind. As far as children, I have 4 children. I can marry somebody that has 5. It doesn't matter. If I like that person, I like that person. It doesn't matter how many children they have. To me, if I like them, I like them. If they're motivated, they have entrepreneurship, as far as they focused on their business and they would help me, then that's a different story. But as far as me getting married to satisfy everybody else, it's not going to happen that way.
No, you should not marry to satisfy everybody else. I agree with you. Do you think he should marry just to satisfy you and Mom?
No, now I don't think that he should marry just to satisfy us, because that's not what's going to make the marriage. I think that, or what I would like to happen is that Edward's ready and has matured enough that he's ready to settle down and get married so that he can provide the stable environment for his children.
You're not ready, are you? He's 30, you know.
I'm focused on my business right now. As far as the marriage,
right?
That's something that takes a lot of energy. Backstage
is Paula. Paula is Ed's ex-fiancée and the mother of one of the 4 children.
Right.
Let's hear what she has to say. Paula, come on up. Well, let me say this, Ed, you got good taste in women.
Thank you.
Paula, Ed has 4 children with 4 different women, including you. Why would you have a child with a man who'd already had 2 children with 2 different women?
Well, personally, I don't really think that there's anything wrong with having children. And he had 2 kids before I met him. One of the kids lived in L.A. and the other one was in Sacramento with us. And we kept them on the weekends and 2 days out the week or whatever. So we lived together and we got engaged and I got pregnant. So we were going to get married and I broke the engagement. But it just didn't work out. We have differences. We have a lot of similarities, but there were some differences that I couldn't deal with. And so I decided to go ahead and break the engagement at that time.
Uh-huh. Okay, I'm still not quite sure why. Would you have married her if she hadn't broken the engagement?
Well, that was more of a mutual agreement. It wasn't like we went to counseling, we talked about it. We're both, just like I said, you kind of wish.
Do you not know about birth control?
Yes, I do. I've been with more than 4 women in my life, so I have used birth control.
And that's my personal take on the thing, is that you need to be careful. He has 4 kids. He needs to get to get himself together. Snip, clip, wrap it up, tap it up, do whatever you have to do. mean, you know, the thing is that he needs to be more responsible and realize that his decisions mean a whole lot more than just to him. What he does and things of that nature does not have a direct reflection on who I am, but you know, it affects each one of those kids. And I'm basically here to represent the kids and let them know that, you know, you need to get it stable for the kids, Dad. You need to do that.
She's right. I'm with her 100%. And your answer?
As far as I understand what she's saying, but at the same time, as far as youth, I work a lot with kids. And so I wouldn't want somebody being into a relationship if they're not happy. Responsibility, yes, that's number one. Number two, don't get married if you're not ready. Why? Why put all the pressure on yourself?
I agree that he needs to also...
I buy what you're saying, but I think you're doing it all backwards. And I think that it's unfair to the children. What you have done is very unfair to the 4 women and the 4 children, because now you're all bound together, whether you like it or not. And
I said it takes 2 people to make a kid, though. It's not all me. It's on them, too. It's 50% my responsibility.
Okay, but you're all bound together, and that's not really a very good scene. You've got people who have nothing, should not have to have anything to do with each other, all thrown in there.
Well, it even throws in the family.
And it throws in your sister and the mother and the father and everybody, because now they're grandparents.
It's glamorous. I mean, I have to deal with 4 personalities all the time. That's not easy, dealing with 4 different ladies all the time. That's a headache. So.
That's called a harem. And,
no, it's not. Harem would be involved people. See, I live in Atlanta. I'm away from him, but at the same time, I will have to say that honestly, you know, having kids out of wedlock is a bad thing to do, but we have to remember that there are blessings. These children are blessings, and we're raising stars. We really are. We got some big kids, some real tall boys that are going to play some ball, be some doctors, a lot of things, and that's a great thing, but he just needs to realize that, you know, you need to have your own spot where you have a room set up for the kids where they can go and they have their own thing, and they know that Dad has a place for them to come whenever they need to be. You may not have them there at all at the same time, but they have their own room, and you need to be able to do that. I think she's right. Do that.
Next, a woman says she's single and never been happier. Problem is, her teen children say they want a dad, so she's torn between her happiness and her children's happiness. What should she do? We'll find out next.
I think she'd be a lot happier if she had somebody there to love on besides me and my brother, you know. She needs emotional support besides me and my brother. She needs somebody there to, like, cuddle with at night before we go to bed. And also financial support because she's working constantly all the time. And she'd be there with us more often.
Later.
Starting to suspect something. I haven't asked him because it's hard. It hurts, you know.
I'll ask him.
On the next Sally, these big stars have all had their own talk shows.
Oh, I love this guy.
They're here to dish with Sally.
I don't think a talk show host should sing.
Why not, John?
Revealing behind-the-scenes Hollywood secrets.
This man is wild for you, baby.
What happens when 7 talk show hosts get together?
Your eyes start to bulge.
Find out.
Talking the talk. Next Sally.
Our guests today say they are single and they are happy. However, they have a loved one or loved ones. In this case, they keep pressuring them to get married. And this is Darla. She has 2 teen children. We're going to meet them in a minute. One is 14, one is 16. And you say you're single and have never been happier in your life, but the kids are pressuring you to find a man and get married because they want a father, or they want you to be happy what they think should be happy. Now, Darla has had a past abusive relationship and other failed relationships, so she now enjoys the single life, and you're happy.
I am happier than I've ever been in my life.
So what do you say to the teenagers? Now, it's unusual that one's 16 and he wants you to get married. Shouldn't he started nagging about this a lot earlier?
He has been nagging at me for years about this. My children want a dad. They've always wanted a father figure in their life, and...
Why didn't you get them a big brother?
They've had big brothers.
And none of them stayed with them or whatever? Usually the Big Brother organization is very good.
Well, we moved from California to another state, and in that state they didn't have a lot of Big Brothers, so they were on a waiting list, and they never got another one.
God, you guys you have got to sign up for this, because it really adds a lot to your life.
It does.
Go ahead. So they are nagging you, and they want you to give them a daddy.
Constantly.
Let's have them come out. Would you have them come out, please? 14-year-old Francis, 16-year-old Christopher. Find out why they want a dad. Francis, you heard Mother say she has never been happier in her entire life. Do you want Mother to be happy, or do you want her to be miserable?
I want her to be happy, but, you know, I think she'd be a lot happier if she had somebody there to love on besides me and my brother, you know, in those ways.
I'm perfectly fulfilled loving on you and your brother. I don't need a crutch in my life.
See, she feels that there are women who feel they just don't need a man to make them happy. Why do you think she needs a man to make her happy?
Well, because she needs emotional support beside me and my brother. She needs somebody there to, like, cuddle with at night before we go to bed. And I just think she'd be a lot happier.
Okay. Christopher, you want a father. It's different for you. Tell your mom why you want a father.
There's things that a dad could give me that you can't. And I'm not saying that you didn't do a good job raising me.
Like what?
Like fishing, camping.
Your mother can't fish?
No.
No, she can't
I broke my
fish.
finger playing basketball with him or something, some kind of ball.
Yeah.
My finger swelled up like this, and he's going, "It's not bad, Mom, let's go play."
She doesn't like doing that stuff.
She doesn't.
I'm really active, and I like
Should have been my son. I'm the fisher and the
stuff.
person who does all of that. That's why you don't need a man to do that. I fish very well, and I play ball very well, and you don't need a guy to do that. But you really wish you had a father. When you see the other kids, do you get jealous? Is that it?
Sometimes, like, my friends go on barbecues with their dads, and I get invited to go along, and I don't feel comfortable going because I just want my dad to be there. And
Sally, I was in a relationship. I couldn't do anything, nothing, without getting beaten, being told I was worthless. Nobody else would ever want me.
Mother should stay in a relationship where she's being abused?
No, not all men are like that, though. I mean, there's some good men there that like to go to church and like to do stuff like that.
I've had one man in my life, one man that treated me like I was worth something. It was her dad.
Right.
I loved her dad with all my heart.
But he's not around anymore. You see, Mother's happy. She doesn't need anybody now. She's happy.
The only man in my life that I would ever want in my life is her dad.
You're saying she should give other guys a shot.
Yeah.
She's so burned, and she's so wounded.
The only guy that I'm interested in is her dad.
But that guy's not around.
Then move on.
Then you move on.
He has no idea.
She don't want to move on.
I can't move on.
She wants to fasten, and that is her protection. You see, she could move on by having this mythological man who is maybe alive, may not, maybe around, may not. That's the way she protects herself from being hurt. That's exactly what Mother's doing.
Also financial support, because she's working constantly all the time, and it'd be better for us if financially, because we'd have somebody there.
Christopher,
she'd be there with us more often.
We don't always get to see her.
I would like to know what's more important, your happiness or your children's happiness?
You think she should marry to make them happy? Wait. No. The question entails you should marry to make your kids happy?
Well, if they want someone, you know,
let me answer this question. If I was married, I would be miserable. I would not be a good mother to my children. I have put my whole life, the past 10 years of my life, on hold completely to make sure that I have normal, functional, loving, caring people.
Yeah, but how would you know if you don't do what they want?
Okay, we'll be right back. They would not
She tries to set me up on blind dates. We can go to the mall. She'll see guys walking in the mall, and she'll, like, get their attention. Go talk to them.
You do want to get married one day.
Well, I have conditions, Sally. I want a man that's going to be everything that I need him to be for me, and I'm not going to settle for anything less at all. I was non-negotiable.
If you're going to be in the New York City area and would like free tickets to be in the Sally Show audience, please call 212-244-3595. Were you the victim of a dangerous crime and it changed your life? If so, please call us at 1-800-93-SALLY and tell us your story.
Our guests today say they are really tired of their friends and family pressuring them to settle down and get married. This is Renita. She's here. The pressurer is her best friend, Yolanda. Renita has 2 sons, aged 9 and 11, and everyone tells her she needs a man to help raise her children. The father of the children passed on. Renita, what does Yolanda say to you?
Sally, she does everything. I mean, she tries to set me up on blind dates. We can go to the mall. She'll see guys walking in the mall, and she'll, like, get their attention. Go talk to them, Renita. Just so they can see her doing this, and then maybe they'll come approach me, because a lot of guys don't just come up on their own. And I mean,
now you do want to get married one day.
Well, I have conditions, Sally.
What are they?
I mean, I want a man that's going to be everything that I need him to be for me, and I'm not going to settle for anything less at all. I was non-negotiable.
So, Yolanda, Renita does want to marry, but she wants a guy that she is going to be in love with, that she's going to respect. You just want her to get any guy, is that right?
No, that's not
What do you want her to do?
Of course, I want her to have someone that's right for her.
Right.
But Renita needs to let her guard down.
In what way?
Well, her son's father passed away 10 years ago.
Right.
She hasn't had a relationship in 10 years. She's dated guys, but she haven't had anything serious in 10 years. And
so what do you think she ought to do?
Well, first of all, like I said, let her guard down and realize that her boys, I mean, they need a male role model in the home. I mean, of course she can do it. She likes basketball and all of that, but, I mean, I look at them, and her youngest son, in school, I mean, I think...
You're saying she should marry for the sake of the children, and that's one of the discussions we're having.
Her happiness also.
Well, are you unhappy?
No, I feel like I can do it on my own eventually. Yolanda shouldn't pressure me at all to get married. She should just let me take my time to do it and just support me when I feel like I don't care if I go out on one date with 5 different guys and I don't give them another date after that. That's my prerogative to do that. But if I find something in that one date that will show me that this isn't the right person for me, then why waste my time going through the second dates and stuff like that?
There's only, I agree with you, and I think the audience does, they wouldn't applaud. But let me tell you, there's one thing wrong with what you're saying, just one thing, and that is when I was doing a love and romance radio show for 2 of the networks, we found out that 80% of all women did not like the man they married on the first, the second, and sometimes even the 3rd date. And yet they are very happily married. So that was done through a poll. So if you just say to a guy on the first date, unless there's something really wrong, if you're saying, well, I just don't like him, sometimes it can turn into
really wrong. Sally.
Really wrong.
Really, I mean, I'm
really
not
wrong.
these men around my kids. I mean, either
I'm with you if it's really wrong. So you ought to let up and stop nagging her.
No, I do not nag her. But
well, then you tell her what you want in a man. Tell her now what you want in a man and let her go find him.
She knows what she wants.
What's wrong with what she wants?
I really don't think she knows what she really wants. All right? I mean, believe me.
Tell her what you want.
I know what I want.
Okay, tell me, what do you want?
I want somebody who's going to be considerate, of course, somebody who's going to be very respectful towards me. I mean, I'm not going to... Some women are too desperate, Sally. They really feel like I'll settle for him being late 5 or 6 times, or I'll settle for him cheating on me once or twice.
No, that's wrong.
And I'm not doing that.
Go ahead.
You can't really just go and try to find somebody out there. It's going to come up and it's going to bite you when, and you're going to know it when you feel it. If you put pressure on yourself, oh, I need a man, I need to get married, you're going to have all these unrealistic expectations of them.
Absolutely right. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
I don't see an intimate relationship with a woman, so I'm kind of concerned.
Do you see an intimate relationship with a man?
I'm starting to suspect some things.
Have you asked him?
I haven't asked him because it's hard, it hurts, you know.
To ask?
Yes.
I'll ask him.
Were you the victim of a crime and now you're terrified to leave the house? If you want Sally's help, please call us at 1-800-93-SALLY and tell us your story.
Today we're talking to people who say they're being pressured by a loved one to settle down and get married. This is Mona. She is the pressurer. She says she's constantly telling her little brother to stop partying and find a nice woman to settle down with. His name is Edward. He's backstage. We'll meet him in a moment. What's going on? You want him to get married?
Yeah, Sally. He's wild. He leads a risque lifestyle. He comes in at 3 or 4 in the morning and tries to hold a full-time job, and I just think he's headed in the wrong direction.
How old is he?
He's 25, but
that's his time.
Well, let's think about today's lifestyle. Let's think about today's reality. The reality of a lot of young people find themselves in trouble at age 25. I don't want to read about him, okay? I don't want to go and visit him in the hospital. I want him to have control of his life. And so it's my responsibility as an older sister to gear him in the right direction. We wasn't raised like that.
So you want him to marry?
Yes, because I think that's going to give him some stability. It'll help him focus. It'll give him accountability and to be more responsible. He's like my son, Sally. My mother had him in a late age.
Yeah.
Therefore, I stepped into his life and helped her raise him. So I look at him more than just my brother. I look at him as my son. I provided for him in a lot of different areas with clothing, food, school. I even carried him on my income tax, for God's sake. So
does he do you ever meet any of the women he's dating?
Well, high school, he had some girls in prom, and then, but since he's got out of high school, no. So I'm starting to get really concerned about his lifestyle even more. It's like, okay, what are you doing? Who are you with? Because I don't see an intimate relationship with a woman, so I'm kind of concerned.
Do you see an intimate relationship with a man?
Well, I hate to say that, but I'm starting to suspect some things.
Have you asked him?
I haven't asked him because it's hard, it hurts, you know.
To ask?
Yes.
I'll ask him. Let's meet Edward. Does she pressure you?
I'm sorry?
Does she pressure you to get married?
Every day.
Are you gay?
Yes, I am.
Are you happy?
Yes, I am happy. I'm more happy than I was with a female.
Okay. Do you have a committed relationship now?
Yes, I do.
You better tell your sister about it because she's worrying herself sick. He is married or he's got a committed relationship.
I do have a relationship. We've been together for 6 months. He comes by the house, you would think he's one of my friends from work.
Why, during the time that I pressured you, haven't you ever told me?
Yeah, why don't you tell her?
Because I wasn't comfortable telling her that.
Why?
However...
Why? I told her.
But I wasn't comfortable because I wanted to tell my brothers before I tell my sister.
But why do I have to come on this show to
Wait, why do you need to tell your brothers? She claims you're very close and she helped raise you. Why wouldn't you tell her first?
True, but my brothers are more... They're more outgoing. They're more brother-like. They're more cool with it, you know.
Are they gay?
No, they're not. No, my brother, no.
They're totally opposite. That's why I'm right here.
Yeah, but you're the one that's closest to him. Rather than every time she said to you, get married, or why don't you get married, or that's a nice tuxedo, you'd look good in the wedding in that tuxedo, why don't you turn to her and say...
I look good in anything I put on. And so that's not doing anything to me. And I am afraid of her.
You see, that attitude right there has me concerned, okay? Can I ask him a question? How long have you been Well, I mean, when did this happen?
Ever since before I went to prom.
Before you went to prom?
Before I went to prom. No one knew.
So our mother has to find out on TV. Is that what you're telling me?
Right.
No, we'll hold the show. You go home and tell her.
I'm not going to tell her. I couldn't do that to her. He's going to have to tell her.
I'll tell her.
I mean, our expectation, we were raised in a Christian home, Christian foundation, and it's just something. I mean, I accept him. I love him. He's still my brother. He's like my son. I'm just going to have to get through this.
Wait, you're the one who said, I suspect something.
I know, but you know what? You can suspect and you can be in denial, and you don't want to accept it. And I can look it right in the face. You know, there's some things now
Would you
going
rather
through my
me
head.
not have asked?
No, I'm glad. You know, because
I was going to tell you anyway. I was going to tell you anyway.
So we can go on. I mean, it's just hard. It's very difficult.
I think it's hard for you. I'm doing a television show with people pressuring somebody to get married, and he doesn't want to get married.
Well, this is a whole nother show now.
Are you all right with him, Mom?
Oh, I love him. You know, I'm going to be all
You're
right.
accepted.
But,
she loves you.
But I don't believe in that kind of lifestyle. But if that's what he chooses to do, I won't pressure him to get married because I don't want to see him marry a guy. No, I'm not going to go that far, so the pressure's off. So my pressure's going to be safe.
We solved your problem.
Well, now I got another problem because I want him to be
safe.
You
told me that's another show, honey. You come back next time. We'll be right back. Is your mother Italian?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. We go to weddings together all the time, and every time we go to a wedding, she comes up to me and she's like, next time, maybe you. So now I take her to all the funerals I can. Next time, maybe you.
If you're going to be in the New York City area and would like free tickets to be in the Sally Show audience, please call 212-244-3595. Were you the victim of a crime and now you're terrified to leave the house? If you want Sally's help, please call us at 1-800-93-SALLY and tell us your story.
People who say their loved ones are pressuring them to get married even though they are happy being single. This is Lisa Lampanelli. This should tell you that she is Italian. She probably is one of the funniest females or persons alive. She does our warm-up, and it's now getting that people are coming to see Lisa, and the heck with this Sally show that beyond there. Lisa has been divorced 8 years, and she has, is your mother Italian?
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Okay, let's take a look at what does the Italian mother do to you if you've been divorced 8 years?
Well,
what kind of conversation is this?
Sally, it's terrible. We go to weddings together all the time, especially now in the spring. And every time we go to a wedding, she comes up to me and she's like, next time, maybe you. Next time, maybe you. Oh. So now I take her to all the funerals I can. Next time, maybe you.
Is she worried about having grandchildren, of you having children? Does she
she's worried about me having children. Until the court order wears off, I can't have any. But my brother's... Thank you, the audience is a little slow, but that's okay. My sister has kids, my brother has kids, so she's okay in that department.
All right.
You know?
But she wants you to have kids.
I know, it's a problem. But I think nasty things sometimes happen to people when they have kids. Yeah. My sister and brother have gotten very cheap. Instead of getting gifts every year now, they send me pictures of the kids. Pictures of the kids. So you know what I do? I send them pictures of me. Yeah. Try fitting keeping that in your wallet.
Are your friends pressuring you, or is it just the Italian mother who's pressuring?
It's mostly the mother. My father could care less.
He couldn't care?
No, as long as I go visit him at the home, he's happy. It's no problem.
And your friends, they're fine?
No, they're fine with it. None of them want to see me paired up. It's good to have that desperate, lonely friend.
Question, what, when you date, do you date other comedians? Do you date funny men, or have you ever dated? I can't.
And actually, I did date
can't imagine the two of you together.
It's horrifying. We laugh hysterically, especially after sex.
At your own joke. Lisa, stay just as funny as you are, and any of you who want to see somebody terribly funny, we will let you know when Lisa appears next. At Caroline's or someplace like that.
Yep,
Am I right? Did I guess?
Yep.
Great. We'll be right back.
It's all in the quality of the relationship. I don't think you have to be married to be in a committed relationship that is terrific for everyone involved.
On the Sally Show, we're back talking to people who say a loved one is pressuring them to get married, but they feel they're single and happy. Joining us is Ashton Applewhite, who is author of a book called Cutting Loose: Why Women Who End Their Marriages Do Well. And Adria Mannery, author of Marriage Magic. Now, that's not yet out, but it's coming right now to the bookstore. So let's start with Ashton. Why so strong for being single?
I'm not inherently strong for being single. I believe that it's much better to be on your own and happy and independent than in a relationship that isn't good for you.
I agree. Everybody agree? Okay. You have also said that a woman's social value is highest during courtship and drops when she gets married. I find the opposite. I think that society generally endows mothers and married women with more social value.
Then how come there's this notion that, you know, the guy is like being dragged up to the altar to the ball and chain, and she becomes, you know, the nag sitting at home who somehow he's lost something and she's gained something, and I've never understood that switcheroo.
Yeah, although society tends to like married women if you're running for political office and you're a single female, you probably are not going to get elected.
Society gets nervous when women aren't married. The show is evident of that.
Exactly. Does marriage make you more secure or happier necessarily?
A good marriage does, a bad marriage doesn't. It's all in the quality of the relationship. I don't think you have to be married to be in a committed relationship that is terrific for everyone involved.
Adria, what do you think?
I think that marriage, is the part of magic that we should aspire to in life. I think a good marriage, obviously a bad marriage, I don't want anybody to be involved in either. Right. But a good marriage is something wonderful. And what I think people need to realize today is that it is something that needs to be worked at. It's not just the love and passion. The respect and responsibility has to come along with it.
Why do we have so many people who are having children and doing all of this and not bothering with the marriage word? What is that about?
I think that it's because of...
It's downgraded.
Yes, I think it's part of what's happening with the throwaway society that we have made over the past few years. I think that we're throwing marriage away and it's being condoned. We say, oh, that's okay, and the next thing's okay, and now we are putting it way down at the bottom, whereas if we spoke about the glory of marriage rather than all of the divorce rates, etc., then we might be in a better place now, and I think that it's very important for kids.
But we're in the middle of a demographic change where marriage is, for better or worse, becoming less relevant, and I think as a tolerant society, we need to adjust to that rather than try and roll back the clock to some imagined ideal.
Okay, why has it changed?
The longer lifespans is one of the reasons. Okay. Economics, consumer culture, absolutely. Our consumer culture is really hard on marriages. We value now, both people have to work 40, 50, 60-hour weeks to make enough money to keep up. There's no time for the family. That erodes what I think a real family values, whether you're married or not.
Is there anybody that we talked to today that you wanted to talk to?
I would like to talk to Ed because I believe that if you opened your heart to the idea that there might be someone out there that could involve all of your senses and could really provide for your kids, because I think that the problem is that my book that's out now is called Mommy Magic, and maybe I should have written Marriage Magic before I did write Mommy Magic. But in there, one of the memories that someone told me was her favorite memory was when her dad would come home every night and watch her dad kiss her mom. And she said, you know, that provided a sense of security that has been the foundation for the way I live my life. And I think that's what's missing. To me, rolling the clock back, I'm sorry, is not what needs to be done. I think we need to increase and hold on to our values.
But what I want to say to Ed is, if we all agree that the most important thing here is that those kids get cared for and have a stable environment, it seems to me that you and these women, and it's quite an act, are doing a terrific job taking care of those children. And I am not convinced that bringing in a fifth woman or privileging one of the moms of one of the children over the other three is going to be the best thing for those kids. You are a family. You're not a conventional family, but somehow, to the satisfaction of everyone involved, you are meeting the needs of those kids. And I don't think marrying someone because of external pressure, I think it could really upset the apple cart. What are the odds?
I still think he should have had some condoms. We'll be right back.
Were you the victim of a dangerous crime and it changed your life? If so, please call us at 1-800-93-SALLY and tell us your story. On the next Sally, these big stars have all had their own talk shows.
I love this guy.
They're here to dish with Sally.
This man is wild for you, baby.
Talking the talk. Next Sally.
Something in my mind that tells me people are exactly where they want to be. Very Buddhist philosophy, but I adhere to it. Ashton Applewhite is the author of Cutting Loose, Why Women Win Their Marriages Do Well. And by the way, there's a whole show in that, and she's completely right. They do well. And Adria Mannery is the author of Mommy Magic and Marriage Magic, coming soon to bookstores. So we want to thank all our guests. Join us on our website if you need any information, sallyjr.com. We'll see you down the road.